If you're running a company between 500,000 and 20 million, you've probably had this experience. You hire someone great, you onboard them, you give them a super clear role, and within 6 months they leave. You're like, what happened? They were so great, why did they leave? The reason they left is not because they were a bad hire, but because you didn't have the right system. So most founders build their team by instinct with that sort of gut feeling. They hire when it hurts, you fire people when it's not working out, and sort of hope culture works itself out. And that can work really well until 1 to 2 million in revenue. But after that, the cracks start to show a little bit. Around 7 years ago, I was running my first company, and I remember the day that our culture broke. I'd taken my eyes off the team, I was spending a lot of time outside of the office, and people actually wanted me to leave. It was the company that I started, and they wanted me gone. I remember telling my wife, I think I'm gonna lose the company today. And honestly, it was probably the worst day of my career. That experience forced me to figure out, what does a healthy team look like? After 10 years of building, breaking, and rebuilding teams, I landed on a framework. In our executive flow system, there are 6 organizational systems that drive revenue growth: focus, strategy, cash, team, rhythms, and tools. And today, I'm going deep on team. Because for most founders, team is the place where they're quietly bleeding money. Bad team dynamics show up as high turnover, meetings that go nowhere, poor execution, or maybe even a founder that can't leave the company for a week or else it's gonna break. Here's the big idea. Healthy teams come down to 2 pillars: alignment and trust. Most organizations have one that works and one that doesn't. And if that's the case for you, then your team is going to break. Alignment means that everyone in the organization knows where they fit. They know what they're good at, and they know exactly what's expected out of the role, and it just works. Now, trust, on the other hand, means that people have confidence in one another. That means that I know that you have the best intentions for me, and I have the best intentions for you, and that's never gonna get in the way of our performance. If you have alignment, but you don't have trust, you have a team that knows what they're supposed to do, but nobody's gonna take a risk because they're afraid of the other person's agenda. They're not gonna speak up. They're not gonna share their best ideas. Everyone is constantly filtering the truth because they're not sure if they're allowed to say it. Now, trust without alignment means everyone loves being on the team. They like being around each other. You have a great team vibe, but you have terrible execution because nobody knows what they're accountable for. You need both trust and alignment, and they build upon each other. Alignment starts with core values. And I don't mean the ones on your website that say like integrity or excellence or innovation. Like every company in the world has those. Those really aren't core values. Those are just like permission to play. Like, of course you have to have integrity to work at any company. Real core values answer one question, and that is, how do we behave at this company? Here's a better way to build great core values that actually sound like your company. Get 3 to 5 people in a room who are on your leadership team or key decision makers. Have everyone brainstorm who are the couple of people that, if we could hire them onto this team, would help us to absolutely dominate our industry. Name those people, write down a couple of their qualities that make them that way, and then compare the lists of qualities. You might have 10 people with 100 different qualities, and you're gonna notice there's a few things on everybody's list. Those are your golden threads, and those are the things that actually become your core values. And here's the most important part. For every core value, don't just write the value, but also write a we always and a we never statement. For instance, the core value might be, we have a bias for action. But to help people understand what that really means, you could say, we always decide when we have between 40 to 70% of the information, not less, not more, but right in the middle. And we never use I'm thinking about it as an excuse to delay action. Why? Because we have a bias for action. If you can't use your core values to hire people or even fire them, then you really don't have core values yet. So once your team knows how to behave, now you need to know who owns what. Every organization has 3 buckets: sales, operations, and administration. Here's the rule. There's one name in every box. Even if your name is in all of the boxes and all the functions of the department, that's fine. At least you can see what's going on. You cannot fix what you can't see. And if your name is in every box, most founders should start to outsource in this order. Get rid of administration first. Hand that off. After that, you wanna hand off service delivery and the operations piece. Then hand off marketing and sales. The thing that you probably always wanna keep is leadership. So there's sort of an order of operations to which things you outsource first when you're leading a company. So here's a quick test. If you just drew your org chart and there's one person's name in all the boxes, that's your constraint. That person is spread way too thin in order to be excellent at any of the functions. The last piece of alignment is every person in a role that matches their strengths. There's 3 things to check. Do they have a desire for the role, an ability to do it, and knowledge about how to do it? If those are all yes, and they fit your core values, you have the right person in the right seat. Now, if they fit your core values in your culture, but they're struggling in their seat, don't fire them, just move them. A culture fit in the wrong seat is not a firing problem, it's a repositioning problem. I recommend every team have everyone take some sort of strengths assessment, whether it's Clifton Strengths or Working Genius. Just pick one and have everyone take it. Happy employees know their strengths and they're in a seat that matches perfectly to their wiring. The second pillar is trust, and trust is all about having confidence in each other. The first component of trust is called smart trust. In unhealthy cultures, you have to walk in and spend years and years to earn trust. You have to prove yourself before you get any autonomy. But in healthy cultures, you don't have to earn trust. It's given to you on day number 1. In healthy cultures, you don't earn trust, you earn distrust. So there are 3 zones to smart trust. The first zone is distrust, and that's where you don't trust anyone and you micromanage everything. On the other side is blind trust, where you trust everyone and you always get burned eventually. But there's this sweet middle called smart trust, and it's the marriage between the willingness to trust people and a little bit of analysis about people. And when you put those together, it means that you trust people on day 1, but you're also paying attention. It's sort of like a marriage between the heart and the head. If your default setting is prove yourself first on day number 1, that's a culture tax in your organization, and it's going to come back to bite you. The tax shows up as slow decisions, duplicated work, and eventually people leaving because no one likes to be not trusted. Once you've issued trust, the question now becomes, what type of leader are you to the people that report to you? And the goal is servant leadership. Most people think a great leader or manager is someone that people like, someone that's respected, someone that people enjoy reporting to, but that's really not it at all. If you're managing people, there's 2 things that tell you that you're doing your job well. You retain people, that is people stay, and your people get results. That is everyone who's reporting to you is checking things off their list. So that's the real scorecard, not likability, not high IQ. You retain people and they get results. And here's something that should change how you think about management. 70% of the variance in employee engagement comes from the manager. That is, if you have an employee that's 30% engaged, i.e. pretty disengaged, and you put a great manager in, they can move to up to 100% engagement. So employees are engaged not based upon great perks or a mission statement that's finely crafted. Those things are fine, but it has so much more to do with a great manager. And the heart of a great manager says this: you don't work for me, I work for you. And if you're in a management role, the heart of a servant leader is one of the things that will help your organization build trust. And remember, people don't leave bad companies, they leave bad managers. So if management matters this much, how do you actually do it? That's where manager behaviors comes in. A study of the top behaviors of effective managers found that there were 4 behaviors that contributed to 75% of the outcomes. Just 4 things that a manager can do to get 75% of the way to being an effective manager. First one, and most importantly, is get to know your people. A manager gets to know their direct reports, and the best way to do this is simply through one-on-ones. Sit down with them once a week for 15 to 20 minutes. Get to know them. Talk about stuff outside of work and talk about stuff that's going on for you outside of work, and just build the relationship. This is the number 1 most important behavior of an effective manager. The second behavior is to communicate about performance. The best way to do this is just give quick feedback. It's 30 seconds. Hey, when you did X, it caused Y. Could you work on that? And that could be both positive or negative. And just get used to giving feedback constantly. It's one of the best ways to communicate about performance. The third behavior is asking for more performance. And the best way to do this is coaching. Collaborate with your direct report on one thing that they can grow in. Talk about resources you can give them and a timeline, and have them report back on the thing that they're working on. And fourth and finally, push work down. The best way to do this is simply with delegation. The goal is to get work off of your plate and develop your people at the same time. So that's the team system. 2 pillars, alignment and trust, and 6 components total. Alignment is all about core values that tell people how to behave, an org chart that has one name in every single box, and the right people in the right seat. And on the trust side, it's all about smart trust and issuing trust on day number 1. Servant leadership, where you're saying, you don't work for me, I work for you. And finally, manager behaviors, where you do the 4 things needed to get 75% of the results as an effective manager. When both pillars are working, you get a team that's contributing to revenue growth without you having to touch anything. And that's exactly how the team system works inside of the executive flow model. Here's my challenge to you. Think about your team right now. Between alignment and trust, which of these 2 pillars is weaker? And that might represent your number 1 constraint that's holding your organization back. If you want to know exactly what's holding your organization back across all 6 systems, take the free executive flow assessment in the description.